This is Sports Drive.
Welcome back into Sports Drive once again. I'm your host, Preston Moore. I mentioned we would be talking a little bit of high school baseball. One of the best teams in the area picked up a major win yesterday in district play. The Canyon Eagles took on Perryton and defeated them 15-5. Joining me now to talk about that game and the rest of the season is head coach John Doan. Coach Doan, how are you doing today?
Real good. Real good. Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
I'm not surprised that you're doing real good after a win like that yesterday, 15-5, a district rival. Talk to me about what a win like that means for your team, especially just how many runs you put on the board there.
Well, I mean, it's important to get the win. It just keeps us right in the race. First place is available, and so we're still shooting for that. And we got a tough road ahead of us for sure. But we played a very much improved Perryton team that hit the ball extremely well yesterday. Give those guys a lot of credit. I know the score looks a little bit lopsided, but that's not how the game felt with the way that those guys were hitting baseball. So they played really well, and we got some big outs when we needed to because they were threatening all game long.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Well, when you do play a team like that, you know that does threaten you in that way and does have that sort of an environment, that sort of a feel to the game where anything could swing in any given moment. What does it take from you as the head coach?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. There's not.
No, go ahead.
There's sorry to interrupt. I guess there's something going off the speaker here, but there's not a lot of room for error. They had runners in scoring position a few times, and so we had to battle in those situations. But our pitching came through, our defense came through and made some nice plays, and we were out of those innings pretty efficiently.
Absolutely. You guys have played really strong in district play so far. Only one loss on your record so far in a close game against Randall. How do you feel like district has gone for your guys so far, and how do you feel like it's looking as you look toward the rest of the season?
Well, I think our district is as competitive as ever, and I've watched a couple of other interviews with coaches on here, and I know that they've mentioned the same thing. There's no days off, there's no game off, there's no time just to roll out there and know you're going to get a win. That's just not the mindset, not with this district and how tough it is. But it's important for us to continue to get better on our end, continue to play good baseball. I feel like we've been getting good pitching. Our hitting has been a little bit up and down, but yesterday we were very fortunate that we had a really good game out of 6, 7, 8, 9 guys. In fact, those guys were the major run producers yesterday in that game against Perryton. So I was proud of that. That's where we hadn't been getting much production, and we tried to shake a few things up, but it was good to see 6 through 9 come up and contribute the way that they did.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Well, when it comes to that hitting and pitching, both sides of the ball, really, how do you feel like your team has improved since the beginning of the season? Obviously, you want to stack your non-district schedule with as many difficult teams as you can, and now in district play, you're at the games matter all the more once you're in district play, right? How do you feel like your team has improved since the beginning of the year?
Well, everything starts on the mound, and Coach Williams, who's been with us for 20 years, he just does an outstanding job with those pitchers, and he and our catcher Reese Davis, they do an excellent job in calling games, and they, for the most part, they kind of share in the duties of the pitch calls, and also our pitchers, they've improved in let's just say the conviction of their pitches. They're taking a lot of ownership and responsibility in every pitch that they throw, and so that's been a lot of fun to see, and the evolution of that. But for those guys to take responsibility of their pitching and understand what they're doing up there, and then the other thing is to trust Reese behind the plate in that they could. They could bounce something, they could spike a curveball to see if we could get somebody to chase. Reese is just a workhorse back there, and he's just a great guy that the pitchers trust. And so that's probably the biggest improvement of all has been on the mound. And then, at the plate, hitting seems to always be the last thing that comes around, and we've been a little bit up and down, and there's still a whole lot of season left to improve. And so we're just going to keep on working, and as of late, we've been having lots better at bats. There was a time where we were getting ourselves out, we were chasing early in counts, and not really doing anything to help ourselves out. That's really changed lately. I can see the demeanor of our guys in the box change. They look more competitive in the box. They're swinging at better pitches. They're swinging at strikes. And for the most part, in different counts, the approach has been really, really good. And so I'm anxious for the next part of this district to roll around and see where we are as hitters.
Absolutely. Well, you are in the next part of district now, and you get to play all of these teams twice. It's kind of a luxury that some other sports don't get. As I say, a luxury. Really, only football doesn't get is the main one that comes to mind. So
Sure.
what do you think are some things that you're focusing on in the second half of district play, knowing you're gonna see all of these teams once again that you've already seen?
Well, I mean, offensively, like I was saying, our hitting, we need to continue to swing at good pitches. We need to be in attack mode. And the other thing that comes with that is just trusting within the lineup, trusting the guy that's behind you. And, if you take a walk, or if you get ball four, then be okay with that and trust that the next guy's going to get it done. No one needs to just load up with pressure, put themselves in the box and try to be the man by themselves. And we need to unload that pressure and that mindset and just let the next guy take over. So we've seen that with a few individuals that early on in the season they were swinging at bad pitches, trying to make something happen. Nothing against that, but now there's that mindset of, well, there's ball four. Now you got to contend with this guy that's been on deck here. So that's been good to see. Along with that is just finding out who we are and how hard we need to be playing the game. And the answer to that is we need to be playing hard. And it doesn't cost one thing to hustle. It doesn't cost one thing to run out a ball that you grounded out to the pitcher, because you just never know what's going to happen. An example of that was last night with Carson Allen. Hit a ball between the first and second baseman. Both players ranged for the baseball. First base was a little bit vacated. It was a race to the base. I mean, if he's not going to hustle, if he's not hustling right there, then it's just it's a routine out. But it didn't cost him one thing. He hustled down there, beat the defender to the base, and of course he was safe. And so that's the first thing I went over to our dugout. I said that's the example that we're talking about right there. Of just playing hard. It didn't cost you anything to do that. If he doesn't hustle right there, it could cost us everything. Certainly a base runner, and that game wasn't out of reach at that point. So we needed that runner, and so that was good to see. A lot of guys hustling out of the box, expecting to making the outfielders, stop us and get us going back to first base. But just the hustle the last couple of weeks has ticked up quite a bit, and that's been really cool to see.
Right. And in light of that hustle, sort of improving over the course of the last couple of weeks, are there any teams, when you look at this second half of district, are there any teams that you're excited to see again, that you have are there any dates circled on your calendar?
This may be coach speak, but every dadgum one of them, and it's going to start on Friday at West Plains. And I'll tell you what, man, what a baseball team that they have. And I think it was said the other day on one of the news outlets that they may be playing the best baseball out of anybody in the district right now. And I don't know. That's just what I read, but I sure like our guys, and I like our chances going over there to West Plains and playing against those guys. I know we'll compete hard. It was a great game the last time we played them, and we were fortunate to walk that one off. I hope we're much improved. I know that they'll be much improved, and they'll have a good game plan. Coach Chandler does an excellent job with those guys. And then, Borger is after that. And with their new coach, Derek Odell, he is just I think he's been doing an unbelievable job. I've been keeping up with those guys since Derek's he's real close to my heart. And that's the reason I've been keeping up with them so much, but I know he's doing an excellent job with those guys. And then after that, here comes Randall. And so that's the next three very challenging ball games for sure.
Absolutely. Well, Coach Doan, once again, we appreciate you coming on the show, making the time, and congratulations on a great season so far, and looking forward to the rest of the season for you.
Yes, sir. Thanks a bunch for having us. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. We'll be right back with more Sports Drive right after this break.